All right, so this is going to be more of an energetic flow yoga. This is when you just have that 20 to 25 minutes and you want to get in and get out and get a little workout. But we're going to chill first, so start on your back. Maggie's going to be pacing back and forth across the room, so don't mind her. Start on your back. Use any props that make you feel comfortable. You can keep your knees bent or you can stretch your legs out to the corners of the mat. Palms up. And no matter what time it is in your day, allow your body to completely rest and sink deeply into your mat. Allow your jaw to relax, your neck, your hips melt into the mat. And begin to notice your breathing. We always strive towards that rhythmic breathing, inhaling through your nose. And exhaling through your nose. Take 3 more deep breaths like that. Begin to add a little pause at the top of the inhale and at the bottom of the exhale. Open your eyes and bring a little movement back into your body. Bend your knees, putting your feet flat on the mat. We'll start with 3 spinal bridges, arms long by your sides. Scoop the tailbone under, lift into your first bridge, holding at the top. And slowly lower. Tailbone touches last. Let's do it twice more. This time at the top, tuck your shoulders underneath you just slightly, puffing your chest up. Press your palms down into the mat. Untuck the shoulders and slowly lower. For the last one, walk your feet a couple inches forward and same thing, lift into your bridge. Notice the subtle difference in your hamstrings. Again, you can tuck your shoulders, puff the chest a little higher. Untuck your shoulders and bridge all the way down to the bottom. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Hug that left knee in for a figure 4 stretch. It is early. Be gentle. Encourage the tailbone down and the top knee to push away from your chest. Keep the shape of your legs. Arms go out to a T position. Drop your legs over to your left until your foot stamps down on the mat. You can turn your head and look at your right hand. Other side, cross the left ankle over, figure 4. Keep your shoulders and neck relaxed. And I'll remind you often to notice the quality of your breathing. Arms out to a T, let your legs fall over to the side. Optional to grab your left ankle. Bring it back through center. Hug both knees into your chest nice and tight. Rock side to side, massaging your back. And begin to rock and roll. This part is always optional, but you can do a few. Make sure to look down at your belly button when you do it. And we'll meet in a tabletop position. I have a blanket to pad my knees. You can do the same. All fours tabletop. Spread your fingers gripping the mat with the finger pads. Let's take a few rounds of cat-cow, starting by dropping your belly and looking forward. Tucking the tail and rounding your spine up towards the sky. Inhale into cow. And exhale into cat. We'll do 2 more. Feel free to take your time and to modify this movement to suit your body. After your last cat, find a flat back, widen your knees, and we'll take hip circles. So you're going to sit over to one side, back towards your heels, over to the other heel, and just making a big circle. As you come forward, you can bring those shoulders forward over your hands, putting a little pressure on the wrists, getting them ready. 3 in one direction, 3 in the other. Good. Plant your hands. Tuck your toes. First, downward facing dog. Your stance can be very short. Feet hip distance apart. Rotate your armpits down towards the floor so that your neck has some space. You can walk your dog, pedaling out your feet. Or take any movements that work for you here. You're just here for another couple of breaths. Lower down to your knees. Let's go wide knees, feet together, child's pose. We will not be here long. Give me a nice stretch, lengthening your fingertips away from your back pockets. If your blanket is there, move that out of the way for the moment. Slide all the way down onto your belly. Hands directly underneath your shoulders, elbow tips pointing up. Feet remain on the mat. Let's take a few baby cobra. Lift your chest by pulling your shoulder blades back. It's a small move. And lower back down. And again, you can press lightly through the hands. We're just warming up our back bends. Breathing, inhale up. Exhale down. One more cobra. Bring your hands close to your rib cage, tuck your toes, elevate your seat, press yourself up into all fours, find downward facing dog. Tap into your breathing. The Ujjayi breathing, the in through the nose, out through the nose, builds heat in the body. We're going to be moving and flowing here. Step or hop your feet to your hands. Hang it over, ragdoll. Allow your head to drop. Generous bend at your knees. If you have any kind of bind, release your arms and slowly roll yourself up to standing. Come to the front of your mat. Feet can be completely together or hip distance apart. Arms by your sides, mountain pose. We'll do 3 sun salutation A. Feel free to take a diversion, skip, or add as you need. Here we go. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, walk back into your plank. This is our first flow, so we're going to slow this one down. Tap your knees down. Shift so that your shoulders are out over your fingertips. Core is gathered in. Hug the elbows back, bend the elbows. It's a small bend, chaturanga. Lift your chest, modified upward facing dog. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Breath in through your nose, out through your nose. Step or hop feet to hands. Fold it over. Bend your knees, look forward. We're coming up in a reverse flat back. So we reverse swan dive all the way up, pushing up through the legs. And the hands come back in to heart center. We'll go one breath, one move. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. One exhale takes you from plank to chaturanga, knees up or down. Upward facing dog, your style. Downward facing dog. Stay for the inhale. Stay for the exhale. If you're going to take a jump, deeply bend your knees and really get those hips up nice and high to make space for your feet. Fold it over, ragdoll. I'll give you a moment here if you'd like to bind, grabbing opposite elbow. Release your bind. We're coming up in that reverse swan dive. It's just like passing through chair. At the top, reach up, look up, small back bend. Hands come back in to heart center. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take your flow. Meeting in downward facing dog. Relax your shoulders. Step or hop feet to hands. Fold it over, ragdoll. While we're here, grab your big toe with your peace fingers. You may want to widen your feet a little bit. Bend your knees. Lengthen your spine first, then pull the elbows wide. You're pulling your forehead through your legs. One more breath. Release your bind. Make sure your feet are in a good position for chair. I like my feet a little wider than hip distance for the first one. Bend your knees. Weight towards the back of your foot. Rise up into chair. This is our Sun Salutation B series. If you have blocks, you might want to have those at the front of your mat. Beautiful. Feel the weight on your feet evenly distribute. Abdominals are zipped up. Shoulders are relaxed. Breathe through the discomfort. One more breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale takes you through your flow. It could be different every time, every day. It's your practice. Really plant your hands. You're gripping the mat. Hands are wide and active. Lift your right leg. This is our three-legged dog. All 10 toes are facing in the same direction. Hips are level. Send energy through that top heel. Shift yourself forward into a plank and pull your knee in towards your nose, rounding your spine, building a little core strength. Shift it back, three-legged dog. Your standing leg needs a good bend on it. Shift it forward, knee to nose. Three-legged dog. And one more. Shift it forward, knee to nose. Lift your hips, making space to step your foot through. It'll come. Back foot is going to spin at a 45-degree angle. We're moving into Warrior One. My stance is wide and rather short. Do your best to square your hips forward. It is not going to be perfect on the first one or ever. And then add the arms as you need. Energetically push down through that back outer arch. Soften your shoulders. As we go deeper into the front leg, we drive more energy into the back leg. Straighten your front knee, hands to your hips. Hinge it forward into a flat back. And fold it over, pyramid pose. This is a really nice place for blocks. It's fine to keep a small bend in that right knee. Allow your head to drop. Bend your front knee and pop up onto the toes in that back leg, finding your runner's lunge. Plant your hands. We're using all that good core strength to step it back into plank. Take your flow. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Find your breath. Child's pose is always available and acceptable. Okay, let's do that other side. Lift the left leg, three-legged dog. Activate the left hamstring, back of the thigh. Shift it forward, knee to nose. Three-legged dog. Hands are spread, they're powerful. And again, knee to nose. Shift it back. One more time, knee to nose. Step it through. Set up your warrior one legs. Building it from the ground up. Your back thigh will have an element of internal rotation, and for a lot of people, the foot needs to turn a little forward as well. Can you find a little more depth? Maybe you have to lengthen your stance. It's okay to shift your hips back and lean forward slightly. And when you get there, rise through your chest. Hands to your hips, straighten that front leg. Hinge forward, just find a flat back. Drive down with the base of the big toe. And fold it over, here's your pyramid pose. Drop your head, release. Bend that front knee, find your runner's lunge, back toes turn forward. Plant your hands, round your spine, finding space to step back into your plank. Take your flow. Downward facing dog. Big hop or step, feet to hands. Fold it over. Bend your knees, rise up into your chair. Reach your hands forward at shoulder height. Optional here to lift your heels. Playing with some balance. Maybe going a little deeper. Set those heels back down. Find the depth of your chair. Fold it over. Inhale, flat back. Exhale takes you through. Downward facing dog. Right away, lift that right leg, three-legged dog. Shift it forward, step it all the way through. We're rising right up into warrior one. Back foot is at 45 degrees. Open it up, warrior two. Wider stance, heel to heel alignment. And of course, watching that your front knee is in line with your hip, not caving in. Good. Shoulders press down your back, arms are active. Building some strength in your quads. Shift it forward and take it back, reversing your warrior. Pass through your warrior two, legs stay the same, shift it forward one more time. Bring your elbow lightly to your knee and find your side angle. So we want the right hip to move towards the left foot. If you need a little bit more, you can take your support away, opening up the arms. Pass through warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down. This time we're stepping right back into our downward facing dog. Allow this to be your rest and find the rhythm of your breath. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Knee to nose, step it through. Warrior one. Can you bend the front knee more and lift the heart? It is a small back bend. We're doing back bends the whole time, you didn't know it. Open it up, warrior two. Wider stance, heel to heel or heel to arch. Right, keep your body right in the middle. You'll notice if you're leaning forward, just kind of draw your torso back. Gaze is out past your front fingertips. Hinge it forward, reverse your warrior. It's more of an up action than a back. Pass right through warrior two, stay in the legs, shift it forward, side angle. Notice where your weight is on that front foot. Evenly distribute your weight. If you need more, open up your wings. One more breath. Rise up, warrior two. This time straighten the front leg. Turn all of your toes in so you're facing the long edge of your mat. You have a nice wide stance. Shift forward, hinging at the hips, at the waist. Take your hands down to blocks or the floor. And we're going to pause here. We're not going too deep. We're going to pause to do some Skandasana lunge. So just bend your right knee, feeling a stretch on the inner thigh, and take it over to the other side. No rush. We'll do a few on each side. After you've done 3 on each side, come back to center, lengthen your spine, meaning flatten your back, and begin to walk your hands further through your legs. Eventually, the crown of the head will drop towards the floor. Tip your sit bones upward towards the sky, and breathe. Plant your hands under your shoulders, coming up to a flat back. And we're just going to walk the hands back to the front of the mat and step back in downward facing dog. Make this a good one. Tip your sit bones up, lengthen your spine. Come down onto your knees and just have a seat. Okay. So we're going to work on half heroes pose. This is a big stretch for your quads and likely your hip flexor as well. You can start on either side, so if you don't get my right and left, that's completely fine. So we're going to start in a Z shape, not the Aldoa, but a very traditional Z sit, kind of like you would do on the Pilates reformer. But I'm going to tuck that back foot a little bit closer to my seat. Okay, you can't see it, but my back foot the foot is flat. The top of the foot is flat on the mat. I'm going to take my hips, tuck them under, and this might be good. You can stay up or you can come down to your elbows. Drive that knee forward, feeling a big stretch in your quad. There's no need to get your hips completely straight, but work them somewhat towards a squared position. If that feels great, that feels good in your body, and you'd like to do a little bit more, you do have the option to come onto your back, bringing your arms overhead. Every day's different, don't force it. Begin to slow down your breathing. If you're on your back, I'm going to suggest that you roll towards your right side to come out of this and use your arms to help you sit up. Okay, same thing, other side. So this time it's the right leg that tucks. Move your hips underneath you. Come down onto your elbows when you're ready. You have two different sides. They might be very different. And then just see what coming down onto your back is like for you. If your arms are overhead, put the other arm on top, the awkward way. If anything is painful, you can come right out of it. Take a couple more deep breaths. Just roll onto your side. Press yourself up. Center yourself on the mat and roll yourself all the way back down. Hug your knees into your chest. We'll finish here with a happy baby. Grab the soles of your feet and pull your knees down towards your armpits. You can add movement side to side. Release the legs. Extend your legs to the corners of the mat. Turn your palms up. Shift around, find your most comfortable position. And we'll take just a few minutes to completely surrender Shavasana. When you're ready, roll over onto your side, pausing in a side lying position for just a moment. Come up to a comfortable seated position. Hands at heart center. Lena, Hunter, whoever else is watching, it's an honor to be your teacher. Namaste.